Our mind is a tremendous gift where it remembers vividly every experience and every information that comes our way. Well, this can be transformed into a phenomenal imagination, but if you lose control over your imagination, if you lose the discrimination as to what is imagination and what is reality, what is future, what is present and what is past, then your mind will become your greatest enemy. Most human beings are not suffering life, they're just suffering their memory and their imagination. What happened 10 years ago, they still suffer. What may happen day after tomorrow, they already suffer. This is not about life. This is about lack of control over two most fantastic faculties that human beings have, a vivid sense of memory and a fantastic sense of imagination. Do not worry about your future. If you do your present well, future will naturally blossom. We can only work with what's on our hands right now. You cannot work with what's on your mind. You can plan for what's on your mind, but you cannot do anything about it. You can only act in the present moment. You can only handle what is there right now. Those of you who too engrossed in your own thoughts and emotions, constantly being maybe on social media or something, I think you must get rid of your phone and take a walk in the forest. If it's not possible every day, at least 1 or 2 days in a month, you might get lost somewhere, just be in nature, all by yourself, walk, sit, observe. If you pay enough attention, you will see, you will be so enchantingly enamored by every little thing in the existence, because the way a single ant is made is too much for you and your intelligence to grasp exactly how this is made. Those who have not peeled their eyes to the creation get too enamored with their own mental creations, which is their thought, the juicy part being emotion. When your thought and your emotion becomes more important than the Creator's creation, that means you have become a perceptual tragedy. You have not realized the nature of life at all. We know many things, we can do many things, but we do not know anything in its entirety. So this is the nature of the existence. If you pay attention to it, naturally your own thought and emotion will sink to the background. You can still enjoy them, but you know how insignificant it is. So it's very important that if you want to experience the multifarious dimensions of life, you have to be non-serious. You become serious only because you have taken your own existence too seriously, though we exist here for a minuscule amount of time in this cosmos. This is a vast cosmos. The very planetary system, the solar system in which we exist is a speck. In that, planet Earth is a micro speck. In that micro speck, the place you live or the city you live is a super micro speck. In that, you have become a big man or woman, and that's the reason why you're so serious about life. It's a brief amount of time that you have as life. In this, if you take yourself too seriously, you are one big joke. The secret of life is to see everything with a non-serious eye, but to be absolutely involved like a sport. To be a sport for life. If you want to be a sport for life, you have to be able to see that your existence is of consequence for the times in which we live, but not of eternal consequence unless you touch the eternal dimension of who you really are. It's such a brief life, only in doing what you truly care for will your life become worthwhile. If genuine involvement has to come in your life, for you to give yourself absolutely. You must be doing something that truly matters. It's important that you find that. When I say it's important to find that, you don't have to spend half your life looking for what is my passion. No, you just have to dig into this ability of you making everything yours. When everything is yours, this whole world is yours, this cosmos is yours. So when it is a part of you, if you involve yourself absolutely and constantly strive to create what matters to you, what you really care for, then your existence itself will be worthwhile. Not necessarily your actions, not necessarily what you achieve and may not achieve, but your very existence will be truly worthwhile, because just to breathe and be is a phenomenon. There is no greater phenomenon than life. If this is not worthwhile, what is?
We're just talking about the soaring onion prices, like in fact, let the price go high.
Because I know in this region they grow the small onion, I know the sufferings of the farmer in the region. For years they have suffered. This 1 year, if they get a little better price, why are you thinking it is wrong? They have to make money somewhere. At least once in 3 years, 4 years, they must have some bonanza, otherwise they cannot survive.
Yeah, but the common man is suffering with the price of
Why is
140 rupees.
not a farmer common man? Who is more common than a farmer?
Who's responsible for this?
No. Saying, you said common man. Who is that common man? Farmer is the common man.
Yeah, who's responsible for this soaring prices? Is
So
it the middleman or the farmer?
you're saying it's soaring. It's not soaring. It's a good price for a farmer. I don't think it's soaring.
But the farmer are not enjoying this. It is the middlemen and the agents who are enjoying this.
That is there. Middlemen are there because without them a farmer cannot survive right now. That is why FPO is important. That is why FPO is important, that farmer producer organizations are the key, because middleman will not be able to manipulate in future if they all get together like this. So right now, onion prices at the retail is touching 100 rupees. Still some farmers they're saying they're selling it at 8 to 12 rupees. Now that cannot continue. If onion prices stay at 100 rupees for next 3 months, farmer will easily get 50 to 60 rupees. If he gets 50 to 60 rupees per kilogram 1 year, even if next 3 years if he doesn't make so much money, even if he just breaks even, he's still okay. But right now, if one crop fails, it is driving him to a place where he wants to take his life. Please let's change this, and he is the real common man in this country.
Why is it that the government is putting such a major emphasis on this national river linking program?
See, I think it's still in debate. Only a few minor projects have been cleared, rest of it is in debate. I'm sure there will be much scientific advice and other things which will come, and I'm sure they'll look at it. And also the economic cost is huge, what you have to invest. Above all, tropical rivers are made in such a way, this idea that the water that is flowing into the ocean is a waste, this idea must go. This is a very dangerous idea, because without that water flowing there, you are disturbing the whole water cycle. The amount of monsoon that you get is directly connected to how much river water flows into the ocean, and if the river water doesn't flow into the ocean, the saline intrusion into the water is happening. For example, in Gujarat, they're losing something like 550 square kilometers per year. It is moved in almost 60 kilometers inland. So, looking at the substrata of Indian subcontinent, especially the peninsula, we have 7,400 kilometers of coastline. If it is estimated that if this water, the river water doesn't go into, let us say it doesn't go into the ocean at all, everything we used up, then the marine water can percolate into the land up to 100 to 130 kilometers. This means you will lose 1/3 of Indian geography to marine water. That means you can't grow a thing, you can come
We're
and…
seeing it in the Sundarbans, isn't it?
Sundarbans, yes, but you must come and see in Tuticorin in Gujarat, where villages have completely vacated because everywhere it's marine water, wherever you put a bore, it's marine water. Just 25 years ago, it was all sweet water.
Most people cannot meditate unless they exhaust the karma of activity within themselves. The prarabdha, the karma is like a coiled up spring. It has to find its release. If you don't give it constructive work, it will find release in all kinds of perversions. It is like a coiled up spring. Within this lifetime, it has to release itself. And considering all the risks that are there to physical life, your physical form is never really safe. Any moment it can get crushed under something. Considering that, prarabdha is anxious. Prarabdha is always trying to find the quickest possible expression. So when you have a tense spring sitting inside you, you cannot. You sit there for half an hour, then you want to do so many things. Have you noticed this? You sit for meditation, you sit like this, body tells you this is not the asana. You sit like this is not the asana. Sit like this is not the asana. Try any goddamn asana, it'll tell you this is not it. Have you tried? Try to sit there for 3-4 hours, then you will see what it is. So, this is simply because there is a coiled up stuff, it has to find its way. So the best way is to get into that kind of activity, it'll wear you out. By the time you go to bed, if you put your head even 2 inches before it touches the pillow, you're dead. Really. So it's very important that the karma or the energy that is allocated for activity is expended as quickly as possible, so that stillness becomes a reality, not just an idea.
A very dear friend of mine is completely consumed with cancer, and she is very, very, very ill. Is there anything that I can do or she can do to come through this?
Come through means get cured?
Yes.
Or die peacefully?
Get better. Get better.
No, I am not talking with any disregard to your friend. But I want you to understand, people need to die. When and how is the only question, isn't it? So if death comes to us, yes, we will do everything possible to save ourselves. But if it goes beyond that, let us learn to die gracefully. Let's not fight with it like endlessly, It's a horrible way to die. The way people are dying in Western countries is really a horrible way to die. Even though they're 85, 90, staying in a hospital with full of pipes and needles all over them, this is not. It's okay if you die 2 years early, what's the problem? You die peacefully and gracefully, that's more important, isn't it? See, death is the last thing that you do in your life, shouldn't you do it gracefully? We must learn to accept death as a part of our life. We are not wishing death, but when it comes, let us learn to go through it gracefully, If there is a possibility of saving ourselves, living beyond that, that is fine. But what I see in all the geriatrics homes in United States, many people are living beyond their death just because of medical support. And it's such a torture to themselves and to everybody. You should see the way in some of the homes they're being treated. Not because of anything, the people who work there after some time they get irritated because these dead bodies walking around. They don't understand anything, they've forgotten everything, they're like lost all their senses. Because they've lived beyond their time. If there was no too much medical input, they would have gracefully died at a certain point, isn't it? There is no sense in stretching it 1 more month, 1 more month, 1 more month, it doesn't make any sense. But life is not understood that way. We are thinking of always stretching it. So if somebody's body is broken beyond redemption, let's learn to die gracefully. Let us make the person understand it's okay, it's all right, We're all in the queue, aren't we? So you are ahead of me, isn't that great? In any queue you want to be ahead of everybody, isn't it? So I'm not trying to make fun of somebody's illness, but we should understand where one thing stops and the other thing begins, isn't it?
What you just watched wasn't just a video, it was a presence exercise. If you stayed until now, it shows something in you is more awake. Comment on what stayed with you, what message hit you hardest, and share this with someone who also values this kind of conversation. Thanks, a big hug, and see you in the next video.